Hey guys, in this tutorial we're going to carry on rigging the tail that we started rigging during the last class. We're going to go over skinning and we're going to go over creating an IK spline, and then in the next class we'll finalize it. Let's get into it. So first thing we need to do here is make sure that our joints here are orientated, and they're probably not because we've been moving them around. So show axis using the comet tool and you will see that it's actually not bad at all. It sounds like they're a little bit off. So X, Y, Y, orient joints. Now, do you want Y up? Do you want Y down? In this case, I'm fine with Y being up. It's totally fine. And that looks good to me. All right, cool. So, this would be really, really easy to rig, but I feel like we need to skin it first. And how I would skin it in this case is, first of all, even if you try to use Maya painting weights, you will not be able to skin it because there's no tail here, you know. They're just not showing there. Even if you type them with the star and filter, they're not there. So what you need to do is you need to add them to skinning for this character because those joints are not included in the skinning currently. So select them all, select the mesh, skin, and then edit influences, add influence. Now, before you do it, it's always a good practice to check whether your mesh has been altered in any way. So I would select the mesh and disable the envelope and see if there is any movement on any of the geo. And I don't see anything, which is great. That means I haven't. Because like, for example, if you moved your leg and forgot about it, you will see it happen. And you don't want to add new joints when the character is in a weird pose, because that's going to mess up everything. All right, so let's select that hierarchy again. Shift click on this mesh, skin, edit influences, add influence. And we want to add them, but Maya tends to just add random weights. It's very bad. You always want to lock your weights to 0 when you add new joints. Now add, and now you can paint weights for those joints. And so you can do it in many ways. Like you can just use the paint weights tool if you wanted to. But what I would recommend in this case is just select this whole chain and like lock inverse selection and then unlock selected joints. And now you can just focus on that tail only. And so you can choose like some kind of a really like rough brush and start painting those weights. If you hold B, you'll increase the brush size, and you can just go ahead and just kind of go in there and paint it harsh. Like that's what I would probably do. And then next joint, tail 2. Can just kind of paint it as well on top of this. And honestly, it's always good to just go a little bit further because otherwise you might just have some issues. So like tail 1, for some reason I'm not seeing tail 1. Didn't I just paint that? I'm sorry. What's going on, Maya? See, this is one of those reasons why I never really paint weights using Maya. Because like this weird stuff is happening every time. Which is why what I'll do, let me just check it one more time. Oh, okay. So I feel like because we unlocked only those joints, what's happening now is Maya is keeping the other weights locked, and this had not skinned the tail joints. So what I would do in this case is just you try to unlock everything in this case, which is you can just select all the skeleton for now, unlock selected, and if you want to add that initial weight, which is what we want to do, I'll just select this vert in the end and grow my selection to the point that I hit the whole tail. And then now, up to this point, I can go paint, and I can paint all that to
to my tail 1. Yep. And now what I can do, because I have those weights already assigned, I can grab this whole thing with shift and lock in various selections. So that will lock all the other joints. And now I can only work within this specified space, which will allow me to paint those weights now, hopefully. So add one harsh brush and add more. And make sure to paint a little bit more again. And then let's see. Yeah, see, that's what I mean. So we're missing that you need to lock everything first. All right, guys. So here we go. Then we can go with the next one. There you go. I can keep going. Now, if you are wondering what I'm normally doing at work and at school, I always use NG Skin Tool because it's the perfect tool for skinning. But I just felt like this time I wanted to use the Maya because it's such a simple thing. And like maybe you don't have NG Skin Tool or, you know. So let's just skin it all like that. And so what we're ending up with here is a bunch of like really rough weights, right? And so they're like really rough. So what does that mean for us? That means that we can easily smooth them, you know? And to smooth them, I will use my smoothing tool that I'm sharing with you guys. So if you put the character in a weird pose like this and then launch the smoothing tool, you can then just launch the smooth brush and it should allow you to really nicely smooth it. If you increase the size of the brush, maybe a little more. For some reason, oh, ha. Okay, so unfortunately we're having issues here because of that hidden mesh and Maya doesn't want to respect it. So I will probably have to do some selection there, which is fine. But for that area, I can easily smooth it with the smooth brush and that area as well. So you know, like you can smooth well, but when you have hidden faces, it's getting a little bit tricky. So okay, so that's looking good now. This is a little bit too smooth in my opinion, for my liking, but we can kind of keep going and see where it gets us. If you feel like it's too strong, always decrease the power of the brush. That's actually a good practice that I always do whenever I'm using this tool. And you don't have to make it perfectly symmetrical because we can always mirror the weights, so that's a nice thing about it. Okay, so here we have it. It looks like we're getting somewhere with that. Maybe I overdid it here. You can undo. Okay, now if I want to do this area where specifically I have this hidden mesh that is getting in the way somehow, I can increase my selection once or twice and I can just use a relax brush and that will do the job. In fact, if I feel like something's not too relaxed, I can also relax it using the brush. All right, so that's looking pretty good. I mean, there's some issues here, but you know, you can polish it up. Good enough for this. The nice thing about this is because you added the joints in the bind pose, you can go to the bind pose. So now it's just going to reset your pose, and now you see how the skinning is working fine. Okay, so like this is okay, but like we probably want to have a little bit more flexible control for that tail.
Hey everyone, I'm working on my passion project, Beasts vs. Undead, a turn-based RPG inspired by classics like Heroes of Might and Magic and Age of Wonders, but with its own unique twist. If this sounds like your kind of game, I'd love your support on Patreon. By becoming a patron, you'll get exclusive access to the latest builds, stunning new artwork, in-depth game development tutorials, behind-the-scenes dev diaries, and even the opportunity to help shape the game itself. Your support means the world and helps bring this dream to life, so check out my Patreon and join the journey.
We probably want to have a little bit more flexible control for that tail. And yes, we can rig it with a simple FK, but we can also rig it with other techniques. And it really depends what we want to do here. I feel like maybe this is a good case to use an IK spline. Haven't used it in a while, so let's give it a shot because we used the ribbon for the spine. Let's see if IK spline is something we can use for the tail. So I'm just going to save it, Control Alt S, and then let's make an IK spline. So create IK spline handle, reset tool, and then just go. Let's see what happens from here to here. So it did something with my spine. It kind of changed it a little bit, which I don't personally like. So there's multiple options for that one. You can make your own curve, but you can also play with the settings here. How to create, how to simplify, don't simplify, and then let's go from here to here. Yeah, so that makes it more accurate with what we want. So let's just say IK spline tail, and that basically does this kind of thing where it's not something you can grab. It's not a normal IK, but you end up with that curve, and that's like a tail CRV. So now with this curve, you can just grab its components and you can kind of deform that tail in some way, which is quite nice. Now, there is a few things about it. There is also a twist with IK spline handle, which is kind of problematic, and there is also how do we control this curve. So I feel like what we can do, because this is not something I want to go too crazy about, I'm just going to make 3 big joints here as well, like for the spine. So just object mode, grab those 3, and we can just make a rigging tool. And I can actually snap them this time to those joints. Just make it like that and then make them bigger, like 8 or 7. And maybe red color. Tail 01 IK joint. Let's just name it like that. 02 and 03. And I'm just going to parent them together because why not? Then what I'm going to do is grab all 3 of them, grab my curve, and just skin it. Skin to joint hierarchy. And let's see what that does. So you see how this actually moves it all together, but then this one is doing that kind of thing, and that one will move the end. But that also depends on the skinning here. Maybe the skinning of the end needs to be better, so we can refine it later. Either way, I'm just going to end up with 3 big controllers here. So I'm just going to grab this, make it a little bit bigger, rotate it 90 degrees. Maybe it would be good to show that geo here, but for now, let's just do it like that. And I'm just going to make them blue because I hate having too many controllers. Tail 01 control, tail 02 control, and then tail 03 control. Okay, and we have it. We can space those guys, put them in a hierarchy as well if you want to. So like 2 goes inside the 1 and 3 goes inside the 2 like that. And so there we have it. Now we control those joints. So constraint parent, constraint parent, constraint parent. So here we have it. And then obviously the tail needs to follow the hip or the COG. That's a good question. Let's actually see how our geometry is acting. So yeah, Would you want it to follow? I feel like you would want it to follow the hip. So grab this tail control and the hip joint and press P, and let's see how that. Yeah, that feels right. Okay, obviously those pens have the problem where they're getting in the way and we need to skin them. Let's hide them for now. Again. All right, let's see. So here we go. Now with this one, yeah, I would like to have a little bit more smoothness in that tail skinning probably. Also another problem with this IK spline is that it doesn't really twist.
Alright guys, so those are the problems we're going to be solving in the next class. For now, let's pause and I will see you guys next week. Hey guys, welcome back. Today I've got something special for all you rigging and game dev enthusiasts out there. If you've ever wanted to master quadruped rigging from scratch, then I've got the perfect course for you. My quadruped rigging course is designed to take you from zero experience to creating fully rigged animated creature, nor prior knowledge needed. We'll go through everything, building the skeleton, skinning, creating controls, and setting up advanced rig systems. By the end of the course, you'll be able to animate your creature integrated in Unreal Engine 5, bringing your game projects to life. The course is available on my website at Cornica3D Click and also on Patreon. Become a member, support my work, and get access to this course and a lot more. Trust me, you won't regret it. Thanks for watching. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel. For more info about my rigging courses, go to my website at link3 Cornica3D. Support me and my projects on Patreon at patreon.com Cornica3D.